Welcome back to Insight Builder channel. Large language model automators, chatbot experts, and my dear friends. Rasa entities and slots. Let's teach the bot how to capture the entities and place them inside the slots in this video. Before we begin, let's go to the shell terminal and we are going to start the Rasa bot that is already coded. So in the meantime, when it boots up, let's go back to the presentation. So why entities and why slots? First of all, a bot has to identify the intents. That is how the bot can decide what to respond next. But in these intents, we can also add information like the user's name, age, address, card details, and whatnot. We can do a lot of things with these entities. We call these entities and we can make the bot to do other actions also. So we will be seeing how it works in the next videos. But in this discussion, we are going to primarily see how to take the user inputs that is detected by the bot as entities and then assign them to something called as slots. In case of Rasa chatbot framework, the slots acts as the variables or the memory space in which the bot can store the user information. It also can store the backend information that pulls from other locations, like it could be the database, it could be some other API server, or it could be your own vector store. All these are possibilities. What we are going to see in this discussion is that how we are going to extract the data which is identified as entities and then they are placed inside the slots. This is what is the first step of understanding how chatbot takes the input from the user. So what we are going to do is we are going to create entities called name and age, and we are going to create slots that is called call name and how old. And to these slots, we are going to assign the name and age. This is the first step. And to tell to the chatbot that, okay, there are two entities and there are two slots in which these entities can be filled. And finally, we need to create the responses that uses these entities and the values from the slots. So that is how finally you will know that the bot has understood what the user has told, and also that is how you will know that bot has actually accessed the age and the name of the user. So let's see an example before we go further. Here you see the bot is already loaded and the model joint-viola.tar.gz has been loaded into the chatbot. Now I'm going to say my name is Sarah. The moment I give this particular statement, it is identified as an intent of my name. Basically, it's an intent that is sharing my name, and the bot is responding with a question that what's your age? This is strange, right? But that is how the tutorial bot has been coded right now. My age is 25, and you see here that it is giving me a reply, none, cannot believe you are 25. So what you can observe from this, that there is something amiss in this particular location, that it is not able to capture some information, but it is able to capture the age that we provided. So let's try something else. So let us say my name is Kadir and it's asking me age is 32. And again, you see that it is able to capture the age, but it's not able to capture the name. These are the challenges. These are the kind of challenges you will face. So now let us try something else. Name is Steve and age is 12. Here you see it is able to capture the name of Steve, and also it is able to capture the age, and it is able to properly form a response, and it is returning back to us. You might be wondering why it did not capture the name Sarah and Kadir. What is the reason for this? The issue in this case is that the bot has not got sufficient data to learn properly. So let's go back to the presentation. we have to teach the bot. We have to teach the bot that what is the name. We have to teach how to extract that name and place it inside the slot. We have to also ensure that it can use those slots and then provide the responses. All these things we have to step by step explain it to the chatbot. As an automation program, we cannot manually do this. Chatbot is not something that you can catch it, make it to sit in a chair and teach it. We are going to give it a lot of data and it's going to learn it, and the models behind the chatbot are going to actually learn it. For this, we have to follow these steps. We have to first of all teach the bot to extract the entities. Then we need to create a way in the stories.yml to do three actions. It has to capture the user input, it has to predict the intent, and it has to predict the next action. So all these things three things it has to do. And for this, we will be using stories.yml. To teach the bot to extract the entities, we will be using nlu.yml. If you guys are new to Rasa chatbot framework, take a look at my earlier videos in this playlist, and also I will be attaching the videos for your reference in the description, so you can take a look at that to come up to speed. The challenge, as you can see here, I have already given a language conversation flow or the dialog flow here. The name is provided, and the moment the name is provided, the bot asks or utters how old are you, and we provide the age, and the bot replies the age and name, and you say that sounds good, and the bot says goodbye. So let's see the last two steps. We say good and the bot says bye. So this is the entire flow that we are going to see how it is getting coded. I believe that you like this video. Do leave a like and share it with others, and subscribe to my channel for further updates on not just Rasa framework, Rasa bot framework. I give information on the open source ecosystem in around Python. So you can take a look at my other videos also. Let's continue with the code discussion right now. So let's go to the code first. It all starts at domain.yml file. If you let me go into the folder where we have the tutorial bot coded. So this is the folder. The GitHub repo link for this folder will be provided to you. So it's going to be very simple for you to just download the repo and follow this entire process. You need to also install Rasa. I have a separate video where I discuss about that. Here the tutorial_bot project has been already created, and we are continuing the process right now. We can see that there are multiple files here. So there is domain.yml, there is graph.html that was created recently. We have models and we have data. So inside the data, we have the stories.yml, rules.yml, and nlu.yml. The beginning or the source of all the entities, intents, the slots, the responses are in domain.yml, this particular file. So this is the first file that we will approach for our explanation. If you review the basic file that is provided by Rasa development team, you will see up to the intents, you will see up to line number 10. After this, all the three intents that you see in line number 11, 12, and 13 was created by me. In case of this particular discussion, we had to create two intents. One is my_name and my_age. We had to create two entities, name and age, that you are seeing here. So these are the syntaxes or the structure in which you have to provide the information in the domain.yml file. And then we have the slots. So this is the new information that we are going to learn in this video. The slots need a call name. Slots need a name. So here I have given two slots with call name as one slot name and how old as another slot name. The slots need to have a type. Like in Python, every variable has a type. In case of the slots in chatbot, there are certain types that is acceptable, like Boolean, text, we have list, we have custom. So there are different types that is available, but we are going to use text as of now. We have to use influence_conversation as false. It's a Boolean parameter that we need to set. for this particular discussion, we are going to use influence underscore conversation false. The reason is, if you are going to make the influence underscore conversation true, then the bot will wait until it is able to capture the intent or the entities and then fill the slots. This can actually be very deteriorating. So for an example, in this case, you saw that it was unable to capture the name. So here, my name is Sarah, and it immediately went to what's your age, and I gave the age, and even though the name was not captured, the conversation continued. But if in case you provide influence underscore conversation equal to true, then the bot will not continue after this particular sentence itself. It will again and again ask for the initial input, and you will not understand why it is not going forward. It's because that the influence conversation has been set true and it is unable to find what is the intent of that statement, and it is also not able to extract the entity from the statement. So both of this will create a problem. And in case of chatbot development, this is one of the major challenges the developers like you will face. And also, see, there are multiple things that is happening in the backend, but for you it will be only one input that you are providing, that you are providing a sentence. But at the backend, it is getting divided into multiple steps. In fact, 3 different steps, as I already explained. So let's not worry about that. Let's continue. You will understand what's going on. Following that, we have right now defined the intents, we have defined the entities, we have defined the slots, and in the slots, in line number 25, we are actually referring that, okay, for this particular call name slot, use the entity name, and for the call slot how old, use the entity age. We are defining that using the type called from entity, and all this are available in the documentation. The process of mapping, the process of creating slots needs practice, and also you need to also have a considerable amount of visualization of how the system is working. It's not difficult, but once you know what problem you are solving, then you will be able to appropriately look for the solution. So here the slots is trying to solve a simple problem, that it has to be a memory for the chatbot. So the memory for the chatbot is going to be a variable, because you can have multiple data that can go into the memory. Since it is going to have a variable, you need to have a type, and it is going to be mapped to a particular intent and an entity. You need to have mappings. So this is how the problem has been solved. I can actually go to the documentation and I can explain it to you. However, the purpose of the documentation is to tell the developers who already understood what is the problem that is getting solved. That is the intent of this particular discussion, to tell you that how the problem is getting solved. Let's continue further. Responses. We have to we have to create responses, not generate it. We have to write these responses that you see here, and you have to assign these responses to the chatbot in the storage.yml file. We are creating 2 responses, that is, we are asking to the user that how old are you. So for that, we are creating utter underscore how old. All the responses of the chatbot starts with utter underscore. Keep that in mind. And then we have utter underscore age name. In case of utter underscore age name in line 65, you can see there are 2 texts that is available. And in the text, you can see that the slot names are enclosed in the curly bracket. That is how the names, that is how the slots that is filled with the name that we provide gets updated as the response. This is all fine. So we see that domain.yml file gives a structure to the chatbot, and it tells what to expect inside the framework. However, the chatbot still don't know how the call name will look, how the entities looks. I mean, even how a name looks. It doesn't know. The models are not trained yet. So for training it, we need to start providing the data for that. So the data is provided from the data folder. So if you go to data folder and if you visit nlu.yml, so this is the first data set creation file that we will look into. So nlu.yml file will contain the various intents and the examples of those intents. Every intent has to be learned by the model, and every intent is actually a classification feature or a classification category. In this particular in this particular file, we have different intents. You can consider them as the categories like greet, tell time, my name, my age, goodbye, affirm, deny, mood great, mood unhappy, and bot challenge. What is the model doing is, it will in the backend, the Rasa core will take this entire file, it will convert it into a classification problem. It will have these sentences along with the categories given to the model, to the classification model, and the classification model will learn, okay, if this sentence provided by the user is I am disappointed, then it will be classified as mood unhappy. If the sentence is I am going to save the world, then the mood is great. If the sentences don't like that, the intent is deny. This is a classification problem. You can see that right away. One additional step that this particular nlu.yml file is doing is that it is also extracting the entities. Till the last couple of minutes, I was explaining how nlu.yml file can help to create the classification problem. But if you can provide the entities also, here you can see that inside the intent I am giving the examples, which is saying my name is, I am giving Ravi Kiran inside the square brackets, and I am assigning that to an entity name. Like this, I am giving different names here: Steve, Karthik, Rogers, Sue, Megan, and I am assigning all those into square bracket, and I am giving it the entity name. This is how you can train the model to extract the entity name. And this is also done automatically by the Rasa core. You don't need to manually do this. And once you give more information, more data, like for an example, as I was trying to provide in this example, I was trying to provide the name Sarah and provide the name Kadir, but it was not identifying these names. That is because the data set that we have provided is not sufficiently having those kinds of names involved. So you need to think about these things when you are providing the data. So try to increase the data so that you will have more distribution and better entity extraction by the model. So if you are going to face a problem in your project, or when you are trying to work on this, you need to access this particular nlu.yml file and look at the intent and increase the number of examples. Continuing further, there is an intent called my_age, and here again you see that this particular examples are helping not only to identify the intent, it is also helping to extract the age. The age is pretty simple challenge because numbers are easy to extract while the words are difficult to manage. So that's why the model was failing in certain words. But yet the chatbot was continuing further, even if it was not able to extract the name. So these are the things that I want you guys to concentrate upon. One more additional point I wanted to add is these entities and names, entities that are given name and age, can be used without slots also. So what I mean to say is, if I am going to if I don't have these slots, and if I have only these entities, if I don't have the slots from line number 19 to line number 31, even then the slot entities will work. Okay. The purpose of entities is, first of all, to help the chatbot to classify the intent better. That is the first objective of the entities. The second objective is to use the entities and fill the data into the slots. Okay, now we know that how the entities are getting used for extracting the intents and also extracting the data. We are going to go to the next step, where we are going to work with the stories.yml file. You can actually work with rules also, but it is better to work with the stories because it will be much more logical and it will have a flow to the entire conversation. That is the main intent. You can still use rules also. I am directly diving into the name path. So there are multiple paths of stories that is available. You can see that here: happy path, sad path 1, time path, and name path. In this case, we are going to work with the name path. So let me first of all show you this is the name path that we are following. So there is happy path. Let me move it like this. So you can see that there is happy path, there is sad path, there is name path, and there is the time path. Just a minute. So this is the time path, and this is the name path, and this is the sad path, and this is the happy path. Okay, and this is actually a rules. So this is a rule. So I will show that rule also to you. You can understand what's going on here. Tutorial data rules.yml file. So you can see the rule here. It is asking, so someone is asking that whether you are a bot. So are you human? This is all those cells or the rectangles that is highlighted in green are created or written by human, and the boxes in white is the reply or the response from the bot. So here someone is challenging the bot that are you a human, and the bot is responding that no, I am a bot, utter I am a bot. So by looking at this entire graph, you can use Rasa visualize command to get this graph, and you can understand what's going on in a more visual fashion. Let's continue with these stories, because that's one of the important point I wanted to share here. In case of stories, we start by creating the steps. In the name path, the first intent the bot is going to look at is my name. So if a user comes and bluntly gives his name, okay, then the slot was set parameter gets triggered, and if the bot is able to extract the name from the intent, it will immediately fill it in the slot call name. This is what we tell using the stories.yml file to the Rasa core, and that is how it's getting trained. And once that step is completed, the action by the Rasa bot is utter how old. Following that, the intent by the user has to be my age. If the intent is not matching this my age, then the slot will not be set. Only if the intent is my age, then the slot will get set and the age will get extracted. And once these two steps are completed, then the action is utter age name. At this moment, when the bot has reached utter age name, it means it has already got the slot data and it has already got the how old data. So that is the logic. This utter age name, if you try to use it anywhere else in any of the other path, then what will happen is it will not have any kind of name and age linked to it, because the slots were not set. You can experiment this by moving this utter age name in other paths like time path or sad path and see what happens. That is how you can actually learn fast and learn to do something useful with the Rasa chatbot, because making something that is that can actually make the user more delighted, user more surprised, is always a good thing. And if you can, most of the time the chatbot is created for automating a particular conversation or a particular process, so that finally the user is getting what he wants. You need to anticipate what the user might do. You need to also anticipate how the user might deviate from the set course. So the set course means I have created a simple story path here, and I am showing you that the user is giving the name, the bot is uttering, and the user is giving the age. But the user need not give the age. The user can always go and talk something else. He can always say, tell me the time. So let me show you what will happen. So let me say my name is Sue, okay, and the bot is asking the age. I can say what time it is, and you see the bot is still able to respond, but the bot has actually moved to time path. So the intent of the user is tell underscore time, and the bot is utter underscore time, responding with utter underscore time. Now, if you go back and if the user says my age is 25, and you see the bot has actually jumped back into this particular path. So this actually is little more confusing in the beginning. Sorry about that. You saw that I was following this particular path. After the bot uttered how old, I jumped to this path. The user jumped to this tell the time path, and the bot uttered the time, and then I returned. The user returned back to this path. The bot continued, and it went ahead for with the further conversation. So this is also possible. The visualization that you see here is a most plausible conversation dialogue path or the dialogue flow, but you can always break this dialogue flow also. This is one of the interesting things about developing chatbot. It's a game that you play between three candidates: your chatbot, the user, and yourself. So you're going to play with these three people, and you're going to develop a bot that is extremely friendly, delightful, enjoyable to work with. So all these things are involved. By end of this, so you have seen that how to work with setting the slot. You have understood how to work with uttering the responses, and once the age and the slot has been captured, then we can use that to respond. You can go down here and you can see that the bot is responding that okay, so your call name, with the call name Sue, cannot believe that you are 25-year-old. Now, by end of this, you have understood that there are certain processes that we follow. The reason why we follow this is to teach the bot effectively. Even if there is a deviation from the user, the bot has to be able to come back and provide with reasonable responses so that the user can be engaged and get the necessary output. So in this discussion, we understood how to extract the entities, how to place these entity values or the user inputs into the slots, and we saw how to use that inputs that are placed into the slots in the bot responses. All these three things we saw in this video. I believe that you like this discussion. Do leave a like, share it with others, and subscribe to my channel for further updates on Rasa chatbot framework and the open source ecosystem in Python. Till the next video, stay tuned and practice, 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 practice. See you guys. Have a great time.